The sound effects button. Hey, shut up. Welcome to the Smokin' Talk and Roll podcast. I'm Todd Chason with my partner Billy Morris. Oh, wait. Billy Morris didn't make it, so we brought in Chris Aiken from That Classic Metal Show. Welcome to the show, my guy.
What up, brother? How are you?
Thank you for sitting in with us tonight.
Sure, man.
What's going on, my man?
Dude, loving doing this.
Yeah.
It seems like I'm always in front of a camera these days with all of my various shows, but it's great to be here, man. It's fun to do this.
I appreciate you sitting in. We've got a great show planned. We've got Eric Ferentinos from Stephen Piercy's band going to be calling in about 15 minutes.
Cool.
And then we got some brewmasters, some local Cleveland guys, Matthias from ABC, Avon Brewing Company, and David Cousineau joining us today to talk about beer and pretzels. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome, man.
So, Chris, our audience might not be fully exposed to you, but we've been friends a long time.
Yes.
In fact, we were talking earlier that Smokin' Rock and Roll, you are our second gig.
Yes.
And I'm terrible with math. I thought we were just finishing our 7th year of business, but you're saying no, we're...
I'm 8th year, yeah, because you came out to my pinball place out in Pittsburgh, Pinball, PA, and fed the masses that day when we opened.
May 2000?
May of 14.
Dear Lord, I'm old.
Dude, we're all getting there, man. But yeah, man, we and I've known you for longer than that, and I've known Billy for
Forever.
25, 30 years, whatever.
For sure.
So, you know, it just seemed like a natural fit to kind of finally get partnered up with you guys in some way here.
Yeah, we probably would have had you on as a guest anyways at some point, but now I get to control the show.
Yeah, there you go. It's all yours.
Right? So, tell us about That Classic Metal Show. It's not the metal show.
No, it's the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic
But I'll
Metal
take
Show.
that Classic Metal Show. That's fine. I'll take that metal show. They get a lot of hits.
You'll take that paycheck.
I'll take the check. I can ask dumb questions like Eddie Trunk. No problem.
Yeah,
It's easy.
He's a master at dumb questions.
But yeah, the Classic Metal Show, it's been going on since 1996. I've been on it since 2004, I think, 3 or 4.
And when does it air?
Airs Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern. And then if you don't want to hang that long, which most people don't, we cut it up into segments and we release one segment every day as a podcast. As podcast and video and everything else.
So it's a 6-hour show, though, when you initially...
Yeah, we do it in one big, massive...
And are you like me? Are you sitting there trying to do questionnaires, or are you just straight up riffing?
I'm straight riff guy.
Because it's all driven around metal and metal guests and metal music? Or hard
I mean, think more Howard Stern, Opie and Anthony type of a deal now.
Okay.
I mean, we really do talk a lot about pop culture and movies and sex and violence and politics and, you know, whatever it would be. And, you know, it's definitely kind of fan-driven in a way. We get a ton of feedback from fans that, you know, send us, talk about this, talk about that. Did you see this article? And it's a free-for-all. It's uncensored. So I definitely say don't come and bring your kids to watch it. It's definitely not for that. But
oh, I got to turn this down. I can't have... All right, now I'm just making sure I can get some comments here. And there are 6 whole people watching, and there are 6 people in the studio. So we're kicking ass.
12 people, baby.
So for 6 hours, you guys just riff.
We just riff. Neely.
No notes, no plans, no show guidelines,
Nope.
nothing.
No, Neely.
I'm doing this all wrong.
No, my co-host Neely, who started the show, he kind of rudders the ship, so to speak.
Right.
But like we're to the point that I've even told him, don't even tell me what we're talking about. I don't want to know.
So he knows what you're going to talk about.
He sort of knows.
So he's the me of your show, where he's the one trying to figure out what music will be played, what guests are coming on, you know, what is, you know, maybe a little bit of background on a guest or whatever.
He'll do that, but I specifically say don't tell me anything. I want first reaction to everything.
No wonder you and Billy are such good friends.
Yeah, but I'm better at this than Billy.
He's been doing pretty good.
Yeah, he does good.
For two knuckleheads that never podcasted before, other than the dumb Smokin' Rock and Roll videos that we were doing every week, which those were fun, but after a while, I can only shove him around so much and talk about pork and brisket.
Well, he likes coming out here because you give him a board with a bunch of cool colored buttons that he can push.
His favorite one. I fucking hate that button.
He's like, ooh, let me press the blue one. Let me press the green one.
And here we have Audio Bay is attached to Smokin' Rock and Roll. This show, if you've never seen it before, is a spinoff of me and Billy's food truck business called Smokin' Rock and Roll.
Sure.
And the show is called Smokin' Talk and Roll. Attached to that is Billy's recording studio, which Henry and Doug are Schrock, and they're all a part of that. And this is the best audio soundbite you can fucking get.
Fantastic.
State-of-the-art recording, and there you go.
Only the best.
Only the best for the Smokin' Talk and Roll show.
There you go.
So you said that you were doing politics. Today's a big voting day.
Yeah,
Did you vote?
of course.
Yeah?
Absolutely,
Who
I
did,
voted.
who did you vote for?
Depends on what you're asking me for. You know, I voted for Vance.
Yeah?
I don't give a shit that the other guy threw a touchdown pass to Bernie Kosar. Doesn't matter to me.
Vance Neal?
Yeah, Vance Neal. he told every third word instead of singing it like Vince.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, you know what? I'm not. I guess I lean to the right a little bit. I guess, but I'm pro guns, pro killing babies. I don't care. You know, I'm for both. Whatever that makes me, that's what I am.
Right?
You know.
Did
And
you go somewhere and stand in line?
no, of course not. I did it early.
Is it like you have to go somewhere and do it, or
No, I did the mail in.
Okay. I'm asking because I don't vote.
No, I did the mail in early. I always vote. I mean, I served, so
Oh.
it almost feels, after you served, it almost feels like you're really letting things down if you could serve the country, but you can't take 10 minutes to fill out a ballot.
I appreciate your service that allows me to make the choice to not vote.
There you go. Hey,
But hey, to each their own. But yeah,
Exactly.
anybody that finds out when you don't vote, like everybody's, what do you mean? Or if you do vote, who did you vote for?
yeah, people need to mind their own business.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do in all walks of life, not just voting.
All of the commercials you see as as you're getting up to the election are so informative and accurate and really spot on. Really give a thorough outline of every candidate that's going in
Sure.
there. You know, the hate stuff or the opponent bashing
Right.
is awesome.
It is fun when they run them back to back with each other, though. Like they run the pro JD Vance one, and then right behind it is JD Vance wants to kill your dog. Don't vote for JD Vance. You know, and that's how it really is. And then the next guy will be like, Governor DeWine wants to drown your grandmother. Don't vote for Governor DeWine. It's so ridiculous.
Oh, well, if you voted today, you did your civic duty, and I appreciate you covering my ass on it, because I didn't do it. But I hope, because I'm of the position, and always have been, that there's never really a solid choice for me that I would get behind.
Look, you paid your taxes last year for the company, right? Sorta.
No, of course we did. Of course
There you go.
we
You did your civic duty, man. That's
Yeah.
way more civic duty than standing out in line to put a sticker on your shirt.
Instead of putting the sticker on, we drive around and we feed police and fire departments, and that's our civic duty.
Absolutely,
you know?
man. And that's good duty there. That's real duty.
All right, do you play the Powerball? It's up to like 12 billion now.
I used to, but I have not in a while. I did not play the. I'm not going to stand in line to buy a ticket that's not going to win. So, no.
Do you know what it's up to right now?
It was 1.9, maybe? 1.9 billion?
1.9 billion.
1.9 billion. And what is the payout if you wanted an all cash payout? Like
$75.
800 million or something like that? 700 something,
million.
700, 800 million.
Probably around there, yeah.
So, Chris,
I'm not winning
You
it.
win. What's the first thing you do?
If I won that money?
Yeah.
Disappear.
Disappear?
Straight disappear. I'm jumping on a private plane somewhere that nobody knows where I am.
Change your number, delete your Facebook page.
I'm not even taking a phone with me. Are you kidding me? I'm gone.
Henry, what's the first thing you do? Buy a swim school?
No, there's a lot of things I do. I have a whole spreadsheet.
Do you really?
I
For
do.
real?
Yeah, I have it saved.
Do you play the lottery on the regular?
No, that's the crazy thing.
Well, your spreadsheet is pointless if
It
you don't
is,
play.
But if I do so happen to know someone that needs it, then I have it on hand.
Or if somebody were to dude, I won, and I would like to include you in my good fortune.
Yeah.
What's the top of your spreadsheet?
Oh boy. Well, the first thing you do is you go to a financial lawyer.
Okay.
Before you even take it, you need to go
This is the most unfun Victor in the history of winning money. Jeez, oh man.
All right, what's the cool thing you're going to do with it? You know, yeah. I'm going to go to a financial planner, and I'm going to work out the history of my family's legacy and make sure that we're all taken care of with Ferraris. What are you going to do?
I'm going to buy a house.
You're going to buy a house. In Cleveland?
No, not in Cleveland. Cleveland sucks.
Oh.
Cleveland, Hawaii, maybe.
Oh, man. It looks like we have our first caller coming in. Let's check it out. Let's see if this works. I got to hit that button and that button. Hello? Who do we got? I'm not hearing anything. Oh, maybe I got to do this. Check 1, 2. I'm new at Billy's side of the board here. It is unmuted. All right, well, caller, try again. I'll see if I can figure it out. Henry? Or maybe they're gone. I don't see anybody on my screen, but something came in. Or did I hang up on Eric? That would be awful.
That was Sal.
Oh, that's Sal?
Yeah.
Fuck him. Love you, Sally. But that's muted, and I just hit that and answer, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then I guess I missed somebody at 4:13 a.m. We weren't even on the show then.
Wow.
But I appreciate your tenacity in trying to get in early.
That's right.
All right, he's going to try it again. Let's see if this works. Sally! Check 1, 2. I don't know. There's like 24 buttons now I got to hit. Everything's turned up. You there?
Hey,
There you are. What's up, you jackass?
hey, you're talking about if you won $1 million or $1 billion and stuff, and where would you go?
Right.
You know where I would go? I'd get a little island and a hut, and me and Doug just chill.
You and
That's all.
Shrock in
That's all
the
I
hut,
ask for.
right? And then you could make those
Yeah.
little green babies with the fucked up ears.
That's rude.
Yeah, dude. I you know what? I'll trim his beard. I'll think.
You wouldn't buy a bigger wood finishing shop.
No, I'd take him on. I would take him to a hut.
Well,
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi.
that sounds all sorts of kinky. Well, Sal, thanks for calling in, and you know how we sign off. Fuck off. All right, that was Sal. He's our good pal. He gets the joke. And here in a couple of minutes, we will have another call in. So we're going to talk about it when he calls in. But he's a last minute guest and a super welcomed guest. But
Sure.
he just worked with you for 6 hours.
You did, yeah. It's Eric Ferentinos, the guitar player for Stephen Piercy from Rat for his band, and he's a friend of mine. And he, my co-host Neely from Classic Metal Show, he had a death in his family, so he had to travel this weekend for that.
Sorry to hear that.
Literally with no warning, it was like, okay, got to find someone. And I just hit Eric up, and we just went for it. And
So he's on a podcast tour this
yeah,
week,
that's it. This is the most fame Eric's had in a long time.
right? Well, we'll see. If he does better than Mark Torian did.
Well, if he shows up, he beats that record, doesn't he? Jeez.
There you go. There you go. You ordered turkeys?
I
from
did.
us? Your 4th year running?
4th year. I'm from what you told me, I'm order number 1.
You're always order number 1.
I
'cause
am.
I keep the sales sheet from every year,
Right.
and sometimes there's 2 orders from you.
Yep.
So, Smokin' Rock and Roll, doing all of our Thanksgiving stuff, 216-539-2239. If you want to get your reservations in, the orders will shut down here soon. And I see we got our boy on screen here, Eric Ferentinos. Am I saying it right, brother? I'm not hearing him so good, Sally, or Henry. What am I missing over here on my end for...
He's on me.
He's
so
on
let
you.
me know.
Hey.
There we go.
Hello.
We good now?
All right.
Welcome.
What's happening, fellas?
He's a little crackly,
A little crackly.
so I'm not sure if that's being translated through the show or if it's just my headphones.
It's,
Aren't these your high-end custom?
No, those are $70.
These are your $70 headphones.
Yep.
Versus all the other headphones that are the $20 headphones.
Yep.
My man. Eric, welcome to the show. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Thanks for tuning in. Did you get yourself a beer?
I'm doing coffee tonight.
They're in the fridge, man. Go grab one.
What beer are you drinking, Todd?
I'm doing a Mick Ultra, which is embarrassing based upon the guests that we have coming on after you that are craft brewers that are bringing some heavy-duty Christmas ales, which you're in San Diego, right?
Yes,
San Diego.
Oceanside.
Oceanside. In California, do you drink beer or no?
Occasionally,
Okay.
yeah.
Do they do Christmas ale and stuff like that? Is that a thing on the West Coast, or is that more of just like? And I'm sure that the guys I'll have on after you here will be more than happy to elaborate on. But do they have Christmas ale is a big thing here in Ohio? So it only comes out in or
I mean,
around
certainly
this
we
time.
have our share of breweries here in San Diego, and I'm certain that they do Christmas stuff.
Have
just
you
like
ever had a
Starbucks.
Christmas ale where they? Do you guys do the stuff around the rim? What do they put on the rim, Dana? The cinnamon and on the Christmas ales?
Yeah, like honey.
Santa semen.
Yeah.
Some people will not like that.
So you and Chris go back. You just did a show with him the other day. 6 hours. It's a marathon, my guy.
That was fun. I had a great time.
Yeah.
And they can go back and find the show on that Classic Metal Show.
Oh, on the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
Yeah.
Damn it.
The motherfucking classic metal
There
show.
it is. Exactly right. But yeah, you can go back and you can see a couple of the episodes that we did. The first 2 hours are up now, and then by Thursday, everything will be up. So
Cool. Well, I have a couple of questions for you, my guy, just to kind of introduce you to some of our guest people in Ohio. First off, have you played in Ohio with Stephen Piercy? He's a guitar
Oh
player.
yeah,
for
we've
Stephen
been playing
Piercy, right?
Ohio for the whole time I've been in the band, so over 20 years. Been going there. I think the first place I played in Ohio was probably Peabody's or something like that.
Nice. Peabody's Down Under. And when was the last time you guys were in Cleveland?
The last time, that's a great question because most of the Piercy shows are a blur to me once we leave there.
probably Kent Stage, Eric.
For Ohio? Wait, well, the last time we were in Ohio, I had a heart attack, and that was in Columbus, or at the
Pickering.
Picktown Palooza.
Yeah.
So did you cut the tour short, or you just said fuck it?
No,
and rolled the bed out on stage.
We've been doing more flyouts this year. We haven't really done more than like 2 or 3 gigs in a row, and that one I was supposed to fly home the next day after it anyway. So that just basically got delayed a couple days. I ended up getting home by Monday and changed my flight and all that stuff. But yeah, so last time in Ohio for me was a bummer, but I'm happy to report I'm healthy now. So
I did see a picture, and it might have been on your Facebook, where you were in a bed, a hospital bed or something.
yep,
Was that event?
yep.
Okay. But
Yeah, so it's fairly recent. It was about 3 months ago.
Okay, so you're out, up and about, running around, ready to rock
Up and
roll?
about. I had a bunch of tests done on my heart last week, and saw a cardiologist yesterday. And surprisingly, there wasn't really much any damage to my heart itself. So that was great news. Weird news. I didn't know, but
It's still black.
it's still black. Is what he said.
Yes, your heart.
Yes, it's black.
So for our audience, you've had a cup of coffee with Bow Wow Wow, Earshot, and then you've been with Stephen Piercy for almost 17 years, right? Since 2005?
No, actually, 2001.
2001, so even longer.
Right.
And how did that come about? Because I hear you're a baller landscaper.
Baller Lance, you're right. Well, that story comes from when I was a young teenager, 15 years old. Piercy moved in across the street from my parents here in San Diego. And when I first met him, I did some odd jobs for him, washing his car, mowing his lawn and stuff like that. But we became pretty fast friends. And I had just started playing guitar around that time. And he coincidentally had produced some of my early bands here in San Diego. And so when in 2001 he needed a guitarist for his solo tour, he had kept me in mind and called me up and gave me that awesome opportunity. And I've hung on to it all these years.
Have you
And
ever
it's worked out great.
Have you ever sat in with Rat when he's doing the Rat thing, or is that?
The only time that I've personally played with Rat was when I tried out for them in, I believe it was, I want to say, no, well, I tried out for them a couple times, I think, but no, 2009 maybe? No, when did Carlos Cavazzo join the band? Because it was that day, the same day he
That
came
would have
in.
been like 8
20
or 9, somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, right. So yeah, I did at that point. I did get to jam with Warren DeMartini, Bobby Blotzer, Robbie Crane.
Robbie's my boy. He's a good dude.
He is a good dude, and he's back playing with us. Todd, did you know that?
I did not know that. All right, are you guys? Have you done the Monsters of Rock cruise?
No, but we're eligible now, finally, to do it
Why were you ineligible to do it?
because we didn't get the V word.
Oh, you didn't get the vax.
That's right.
Ah, okay.
So, but they just changed that. Fortunately, they the CDC kind of let up on the cruise lines and are allowing them to do their own mitigations, which is how it should have been all along. But they're not requiring that anymore. So that was really great news. And so I do hope we do some cruises, and I would love to do the Monsters of Rock. And they need some new people on there. I mean, Steven hasn't done that in a long time.
Dude, it's a great time. I think we've done 3 or 4, and they're a blast night. And well, I can't say what I was going to say. I retract what I was about to say because I'll get a kick in the mouth from my boss over there in Tough. So,
Oh, got it.
but yeah, dude, if you get the chance, do it. They're awesome. It's a really good time and a great way. I mean, you're kind of locked in with the fans. You're on a ship. There's nowhere to go. You want to go eat, you're around fans. You want to go have beer, you're around fans. You want to just, you got to go to the gym or whatever you're going to do on the ship, you're around your fans, and you have that constant access to them. And for the most part, they're all really super respectful and cool and friendly, and they're not like chasing you around. And I mean, we're in Tough, so nobody really does that anyways. But Steven might be, Steven might have a bigger problem than we would. Or
He had a problem. Yeah, I don't know if it was Monsters of Rock. He had a story. He was basically telling me that people would follow him around and be harassing him at his door and be like, "Hey, Steven, you want to get stoned?" And like some guy ended up going to the brig or something that was banging on his door.
The brig. I got to ask to see the brig the next time we're on the cruise. That would be awesome.
It's all old timey pirate prison down there with like a skeleton hanging on the
Chained
wall.
to a wall.
Yep.
So what is next for the Stephen Piercy band with you and him going forward? Is there something on the
I think
calendar?
December. The coolest thing we're doing is for December 30th. We have the New Year's Eve at the Whiskey A Go Go, world famous Whiskey A Go Go.
What's the date on that? The 31st of December?
That is actually the 30th. That week we're doing a private event on December 16th. But then, see West Hollywood, the Whiskey, and that is Friday night, December 30th. So get
Awesome.
tickets for that. We got another private event on January 14th. There's a festival we're doing in Key West. It looks like Rock Island on January 21st. I'm seeing some stuff with Vince Neil for 2023, which is pretty awesome. I don't think I can announce all these.
Is Robbie going to play with both you and Vince Neil?
He hasn't, to my knowledge, been playing with Vince Neil. Dana Strum has been primarily playing. Him and Blando, as far as I know, are his band, unless something's changed on there. But it's looks like we're going to be coming back to Mohegan Sun on February 25th. We got a run of Canyon Club shows in March. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We got Agora Hills, Montclair, Santa Clarita, 3 in a row there.
And is there a website people can go to find your list of dates? Is it on your Facebook page? Is there a StephenPiercyBand.com?
OfficialStephenPiercy.com.
You have to spell all that out.
Because somebody took StephenPiercy.com and, drum roll please, turned it into a gay website.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Yep.
That sound coincided with the gay website.
That worked perfectly.
I think it's the first
You got to
time-
really hate Piercy to do something like that.
He should have done. He should reserve the unofficial one as well. The unofficial Stephen Pearcy.
Right. While he's at it.
Just in case somebody wants to do like some sort of other weird shit website.
Right.
It's possible. I would get every variation myself if I was a iconic person, but
So you and I have been kind of messaging a little bit back and forth today, and I've been, doing some dives into the music, and I was listening to 10 Miles Wide, and you wrote, and you're one of the writers on that song, right?
yeah, the the solo record Smash and View to a Thrill, he and I did that together, where I supplied all the music, he did his vocals. I sing some background stuff here and there, but that's kind of our arrangement that we have that's worked for so many years. Like, I throw him the music, the vibe, and he takes care of the rest. And between the both of us, we made those records. And the next thing he has coming out is called Legacy, which I believe is a compilation of stuff going back his whole career, like unreleased Rat demos and things like that. I think some solo stuff is on there as well from the solo band that he and I did. And then after that will be the next solo album, which will come out next year. And that'll be the same process where we go in and knock it out in a couple weeks. But we've been comprising music for that for some time now.
And so I was listening to 10 Miles Wide, and I was watching the video, and it's a great song. Love the song. And the sound, the guitar sound and the approach feels Rat-centric. Like when you and him when you guys are putting the band together, is that something that's in your mind where you're thinking that, he's going to sound like Stephen Pearcy no matter what he sings like. And,
sure.
But is that something that you try to steer towards or steer away from, or is it just the music is the music and whatever fucking happens, happens?
It's kind of more like the latter, actually, and that was one cool thing about the solo records, where we could do stuff that Rat would never get away with, like more like Zeppelin kind of stuff and old school classic, odes, if you will, to some of the bands that we like. Smash was kind of that way, where it was kind of all over the place, but it certainly wasn't like all Rat centric, as you had put it. But I think when View to a Thrill, I might have put some more songs that to me had a Rat vibe to it, and I might go even more so on the next one, a little more premeditated. But that Smash record was like, that was a collection of songs that I had been giving him for like well over a decade at that point, so they were kind of a little bit all over the place, but the fans liked it. They really liked that one for some reason.
Well, probably because it kicked ass, so that's why.
Well, that explains it.
There, you have my stand.
He is right though. Smash is a great record, and it has a lot of Zeppelin in it. He's saying it like it's a little bit, but if you listen, what is that song? Tattooed Baby or a Tattooed Baby?
Oh, Shutdown Baby.
Shutdown Baby. That might as well be a Zeppelin track because
right.
When you hear it, if you didn't hear the voice, you would think it's like an instrumental Zeppelin. It's really got that bluesy guitar thing going, and Lollipop's another one that really doesn't feel like Stephen Pearcy. Smash is a great record. Smash a great record.
So
we're just having fun with it. It's not like these, we have these like multi-million-dollar record deals that we can take all this time for. We just kind of go for it and try to have a good time with it. And, that's one thing I love about Steven is that he still does like to create music. There's so many artists that, might have had hits back in the day, but they just stopped putting out records, and they go, oh, there's no money in it, so they don't do it. But Steven's not that way. He'll still do it. We need to at least cover the studio costs, but he still gets ideas all the time, and we love working together. And I hope we do several more records, but I know we'll at least have one more solo record coming down for everybody down the pike.
Right on. And now, when I was Googling you and going through it, you're one of the few guys that doesn't have a Wikipedia page to where I can go find all sorts of fake shit about you on it.
Right, where people are changing it every day.
Right. But there was something where you were involved on some level with the In Your Face, the Niels Lozauer story. Is that right or something? Did I see that right? Or
Not to my recollection. I of course know Neil, and I've done photo shoots with Steven, with Neil, on multiple occasions. Been to his studio.
Well, if you Google yourself, you are referenced under IMDb as being involved in that project.
Interesting. Maybe he used a photo I was in. Perhaps I haven't looked at it to give you
There should be
an
There
explanation.
should be a royalty involed in that. Neil Zlow's
Maybe, yeah.
Zlow's got to kick down a couple of coins, my man.
That's right.
All right, my brother. I appreciate you coming on the show. We are a short show. We don't do the 6-hour run. We're a 60,
No worries.
We're a
I was stoked to
60-minute
come on
show.
and meet you finally.
I hope you guys. I hope to meet you on the Monsters of Rock or next time you're in Cleveland. Would love to know about when you're coming out. So let's stay in touch. I appreciate you coming on. And
Well, we're bros now, so I'll let you know, and definitely have you out with some buddies or whoever. We'll hook you up.
for sure, my guy. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Later, Chris.
See you, Eric.
All right, Eric Ferentinos. That dude is awesome. What a good time. What a good get.
Yeah, he's a good get, man.
Yeah.
He's just a good dude, man.
He's a good dude.
He's
And-
almost too nice to be in that Hollywood scene.
Yeah, and he called in and showed.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Maybe you could send a clip of this to Mark Torian and, you know,
You might have a family emergency. My dog had to pee.
yeah, whatever.
All right. Well, so we're going to move on to the next segment. We have a
All
couple of guests that are hanging out we're going to bring on. You guys ready to jump in here with us? I can't see beyond these lights, so I'm not sure where everybody's at.
They are ready.
But come on in. Matthias Hauk, am I saying that right?
Yes.
And David Cruzino. Cruzino, David, how are you, brother? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Headphones on. Let me make sure you got enough space to get here. This Mick Ultra is about to be put to shame. There we go. He brought the proper beers. Yeah, this thing's got to get fucked off there. All right. And Henry, you should have some of these logos if people want to pop them up. So
Yeah.
Dana brought some glasses in case you guys want to sip and mix and match or whatever. I do prefer drinking from glass. I like it when there's some crumbs or something from the dishwasher that didn't make it out in there.
I'm not afraid.
You're not afraid? No, I don't give a shit. Welcome to the Smokin' Talk and Roll podcast.
Thank you so much.
Chris Aiken is sitting in for Billy Morris
Hello,
tonight.
fellas. How are you?
He's doing such a good job. I'm thinking Billy should stay in Florida for a couple more weeks. I'm hoping Billy actually calls in or videos in or something. He must know how all this works. But have you guys ever done a podcast before?
I have not.
You have.
I have.
You have not. You've seen one.
I've seen plenty.
You've seen plenty.
Yeah.
All right.
I've seen yours.
Oh, Dana's getting herself a glass or pouring me a glass. I'm not sure which one's happening here. She's pouring herself a glass. She didn't go for the Mick Ultra. So, Matthias, Matthias, partner at Avon Brewing Company?
Yeah,
Or
owner.
just
We
owner and master brewer, right? You are the brewmaster of the place?
yes.
What?
Say that right?
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brewer master of nothing.
What are we drinking here, brother?
So, what we have here, this is our Christmas Miracle. It's our gold medal winner a couple times over now.
When was it was established in 2016?
That's when we opened up Avon Brewing Company. So,
okay.
we talked about ownership. So, it's a family business. My brother-in-law is our chef, and I do the beer.
Okay.
The brewer, and my father-in-law also is a partner with us. He does all of the books and pretty much everything else in the place that needs to happen to run a restaurant. As you know, he's the Todd of the business.
And then you get to play with beer, and your brother gets to play with food.
Yes.
Man, those are the good
Yep.
jobs, right?
It is. It's a great job.
So
Only thing better is Dave. He gets to play with everybody
Hey,
and drink beer at the same time.
and go on the cruises. So,
right.
well, first off, I want to taste
Yeah,
this
cheers,
beer. So,
guys.
cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for bringing in some brew. So, this is the is it Fragile Christmas Ale? Is that what it's called? Christmas Miracle or
Yeah, it's
what's
Christmas Miracle, capitalized CLE for kind of the Cleveland area, but If you've ever seen the
Oh, there you go.
fragile, right? It's fragile.
There it is. It's on the
It's a leg
screen.
lamp.
It's
right there.
Italian.
There it is. It's Italian. That's right
good.
for the season. So
Oh man,
That's good.
What's the ABV on this? 9.3. It's no joke.
9.3, no
oh boy,
joke.
that's a kick in the pants right there.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
That'll set you up.
And we brought our barrel aged here for later, and that's sitting on about 12.3 this year. So
12 point. What is there a limit or a legal like stop sign of saying you can't have like a 20% beer, or can you make it whatever ABV you want?
and not anymore.
Not anymore.
Used to be,
There used to be,
it's
right?
gone, yeah.
What was it though?
I think it was 12.
Was it 12? So when I came to Cleveland from Los Angeles, I'd never heard of Christmas ale. And then, of course, when you do, and if you're a pedestrian beer drinker, you hear of Great Lakes Christmas ale, right? Is that kind of like everybody wants to reinvent that because there's a good market for Christmas ales in the Midwest and specifically Northeast Ohio?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a good market for Christmas sales.
Right.
So Great Lakes, I would not say very pedestrian. They are the
No,
the
they're not
grandfather of
pedestrian.
all,
I'm
right?
saying
Yeah, for us.
I'm pedestrian.
Yeah. So Great Lakes is one of the oldest breweries in, currently in Ohio for sure, but in the country. And one of the things they created was Christmas ale. And so what they did is they took some local honey, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and those wonderful Christmas spices, and made a beer that really put them on the map. You know, and I think if people all across the nation would say, "What is Great Lakes known for?" they'd probably say their Christmas ale.
Right.
For
right.
sure, 100%. So they kind of set the standard for what we would call a Northeastern Ohio winter warmer ale, right? We call them Christmas ales. So other people put spices in beer for a winter warmer. That's a very common strategy.
Is that the brewer's terminology? Is a winter warmer? Because I've never heard it
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
I'm
winter warmer would be what you call a nice heavy, high ABV spiced beer.
spiced
Yeah.
beer. Now, how long have you been? How did you get into brewing? How long you been brewing?
Yeah, good question. So I got into brewing about 20 plus years ago. We were home brewers. My mother-in-law got my youngest brother-in-law a Mr. Beer kit, and we were so excited to try it ourselves, and we did, and it was awful. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was so bad. You put these plastic bottles and you're chugging it back. You're like, this is so
It tastes a
wonderful.
little bit like beer.
Something like beer. There's a little bit of alcohol in there somewhere, and there's sediment, and it's gross, and you kind of put it away. We tried it a little bit again, but my real brother, is an engineer by trade, and so he got into some home brewing when he was in college, and started doing what they call all grain and getting more in depth into the home brewing scene, and kind of just said, hey, what do you think about this? We did it together once, and I got the bug and came back and started brewing with Brian and Dan and our family, just to kind of be together as family. So we've been brewing for quite a long time, and brewed out of our house, kegged beers, just kind of progressed as we went. We've been brewing most of these beers now for a very long time. I mean, a lot of the beers you see on tap at Avon Brewing Company are beers that we've been brewing probably for at least 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is it that separates you from being a home brewer to saying, okay, this is a good enough quality to open a professional brewery?
Yeah. That's a good question. And I think that's something a lot of people have to dig around with, right?
Right. Well, and I think Dave's on
Talked
that.
about that.
You're on
Yeah.
that cusp, right?
Yeah.
I think Dave's crossed that cusp a few times, just so we're
Enter
all aware.
competitions and
Yeah.
get professional feedback and
Yeah, a lot of professional feedback. I think it's really important. I mean, we're going to talk about Dave here. He's a highly coveted award-winning home brewer. We've had an opportunity to work with on several occasions.
Oh yeah. I asked him to send me some information on him, and it was like
Page after page after page after page.
I had to go two-sided. I needed extra ink on my printer, bro.
I do my homework. That's what I'm told, man.
Yeah, you're solid on that.
That's good. So to get to your question, really, as Dave said, getting feedback from people. We were brewing a lot, and we kind of upgraded our system to more of a professional style system. And from that, entered some competitions. We brewed once for Platform back in the day when they were still a local company here
Do you get?
in Cleveland.
Is there a cash prize when you win competitions, or is it just bragging rights, trophies, and the accolades of winning?
Yeah, usually just the accolades and good feedback from a lot of good brewers.
But like Dave, what we did is they took our beer and brewed it there and put it on tap, which Dave's had the chance to do that with us a few times. And ultimately, when you get to talk about him, one of the big things is that you won that Sam Adams
Yeah,
homebrew competition.
yeah, that was
right?
great.
It was a
That was a
huge
great
thing.
time.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
Well, I think when I met you was my first time at ABC, and you were there, and we were having your beer because your beer was there. So it was me and Billy, you and your brother, and
Yeah.
it was my first time meeting Matthias.
Yep.
And they had one of your beers in house.
I think that was the Sam Adams.
Was that the
Yeah.
Sam Adams
Yeah.
one?
Long shot competition.
Was that a saison, or am I saying it right?
That was a saison.
Okay,
Yeah,
not a Phil Susan, but a saison.
correct.
And
So yeah, that's what we do. And so we got some really good feedback, and people said we just should do our own thing. And my brother, being a chef, he opened up some really great restaurants in Cleveland. One of them being Luca in downtown, is his last restaurant.
oh damn,
I used to listen.
we're getting some feedback here, Henry, on occasion. Do you know what that's
Yeah, I'm
coming from?
seeing- Hold on.
Keep going.
It's okay. We can drink. while he's
yeah, we can
fixing the
drink more.
feedback, right? So he said,
Do me a favor, Miss Tyson, just take a look at that last bullet and just give me a thumbs up or a thumb down if we can discuss that at some point through the show. Well, there is no
Absolutely.
sound now.
"Yeah, it's gonna be soon."
Okay. I didn't know we wanted to get clearance, right? Kind of like where I almost just fumbled the ball with Tough.
yeah, I think
We're just plopping on the table.
yeah,
for
there's some
everybody
things you
to
got to
have.
keep as a surprise or you can't announce until
No, not a surprise
everything's
at all.
been authorized. So I just want to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we decided that Brian said, "Hey, listen, I'm tired of doing this for other people. We have a chance to kind of make something great in a time where the wave was just hitting in our area, and so we did. We found a building and went for it, and went all in, and now just over 6 years later, it's been really good for us.
So how many restaurants, breweries does ABC have right now?
Yeah. So currently we operate the flagship, the mother location
In
there
Avon.
in Avon,
Yeah.
Detroit Road and 611.
Awesome
Avon
place.
Brewing
Yeah.
Company. Yeah, we have our brewery and coffee shop are just to the north there on Colorado. We partner with Black Key Coffee.
It's like
They're
coffee
wonderful
was like a
people.
code word for beer.
We have a brewery and we have actual coffee.
Yeah. Oh.
Coffee House did a great job down there. We have ZZ's Big Top, which is kind of one of your rock and roll heritage for you guys.
Yeah, we brought the food truck out there a
It
couple
was
times.
wonderful.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. Got to work with you guys on that. And then we have Medina Brewing Company, Medina.
Okay.
We have a few things up our sleeves at this point. We did open up the one in Ridgeville, but we've since sold that. And
How does
moved
your
on.
brother cook at all three places at the same time?
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? So he's the master.
Breakfast,
of all
lunch,
things.
dinner.
Yeah, he's got really long arms.
Right? He's like, I'm over here, and he's feeding people this way and this way.
I would imagine he's executive chef now, right?
Exactly,
He's
yeah.
He's not working the fryer,
Exactly.
right?
Correct. There's been times recently that we're definitely both behind the line.
Okay.
So,
well,
it's
right.
one of those times,
Staffing
right?
is crazy, right?
It has been crazy for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now I own a brick and mortar business out in Pittsburgh, and I know full well that I have to kind of reinvent myself constantly to keep you can't rely on what you've done to keep your audience, because the audience will be like, well, I've already done that. So what do you guys do to reinvent yourself every time? Is it just a new flavor of beer? Is it new foods, new attractions? What is it that you do to keep bringing people back?
Yeah. Good question. Botox, lip fillers. So one of the things that we've always been focused on is small, local, organic as much as possible. Organic, not necessarily organic food, but organic coming around what we like to drink and eat. We kind of try to brew and make and meet great people like Dave, and we brew beer together. Some things that he's done and we've collaborated on. We've really been a big focus on small, right? Some of the big dogs have their niche in the game, and we wanted to stay in a position where we can be nimble.
Okay.
So we have a 5-barrel brewery in Avon. We have a 5-barrel brewery in Medina, and that's about 10 kegs, 10 big half-barrel kegs per batch. So keeps us nimble enough to brew regularly. We put out about a new beer a week at each location, which
Damn.
gives us, you come in every month and get a new flight.
Okay.
So that keeps us pretty nimble in that.
Sure.
And you're like an executive brewer, kind of in the executive chef level now. You have under brewers or like Sioux brewers.
Yeah, so if you consider me the
Sioux brewers, I guess, you know.
the owner brewer, right? The guy who's
Right.
getting together with all the recipes. I have two fantastic people who I hate not to talk about. Andrew Ritterbeck, who came from Great Lakes,
Drop the names.
who's our head brewer. He's wonderful. He's excellent. And our pub brewer, who's going to be doing some great things for us in our new location. His name is Peter Campen, and he is a fantastic home brewer in his own right.
Yeah.
Won a bunch of awards, and he knows you pretty well.
Yep.
And Pete puts out some great beer, and we just collaborate really well together. And I can't be more excited about the team we put together to move us in the next direction, which is opening a new restaurant. We're opening a 15,000 square foot restaurant brewery in the middle of Avon.
Okay.
About 3 acres. We're going to go from.
Because I know,
closer to my house.
I remember that there, and I hope I'm not out of line or sharing anything that's fucked off, but it was the supply chain. Like I think you guys were where you were doing the bulk of brewing and getting it to your restaurants or something like that.
Correct.
Am I on point a little bit with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have.
And you wanted to create the all-in-one facility, right? To where
Correct.
you weren't having to travel. I mean, obviously you have a lot of joints, a lot of restaurants, and the beer's got to get there somehow. But having a master facility where you can brew, eat, drink, party, and do
all
what
the
you guys,
great things you want to do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the best parts of life.
Best parts of life. Yeah, and so that's what we've been trying to work on now for 6 years, and it's come to fruition.
And it landed.
And it landed.
My man.
As soon as we put a shovel in the ground, I'll even be more excited about that.
So it's going to be in Avon.
It's going to be in Avon.
And are you still keeping the original ABC then, or
not.
you're not?
And now we're moving the whole.
So there will be a place
locale.
for lease.
That's it.
For smoking rock and roll. Say what?
That'd be wonderful, wouldn't it?
It would be awesome.
I would love to have you guys in Avon. That'd be fantastic.
And I just happen to know a guy that can brew some beer because we've been talking to Dave for a long time. So Dave, Matthias.
Connection right there.
I'm always working the angles. Yeah.
Salesman.
So you're a home brewer. How does somebody, if they're watching the show and they're like, I love beer and I wanna get into making beer and be good at it and be creative at it. How do they dive into that, brother?
Get on Reddit. Get on the internet,
Well,
man. Yeah.
sure, but I mean, in practice, like obviously there's some expense to be put into it, right? You've got to buy some equipment, or you got to know a
Yeah.
guy, or whatever, right?
I mean, you start with a pot on the stove and a glass carboy, some bottles, and you're off to the races. But it escalates from there.
Where do you go? I mean, are you buying your stuff online to create your brews? Are you going? Is there a place that home craft brewers can go to? I know we're in Ohio, and not everybody that's watching this is from Ohio, but the bulk of our audience is Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, there's a couple places. I mean, I get stuff on the internet, but the Cleveland Brew Shop is like right down by Platform. The brewery down there, they got great stuff.
Absolutely.
Homebrew Ohio is out in Sandusky. It's on my way to Marblehead.
I got to look at my notes because
Yeah.
you had mentioned something about somebody. Oh, Collision Bend.
Oh yeah,
You've got something coming up with that,
yeah.
right?
We have a beer. As far as like Brewfest go, I tell you the one in Lorraine, the Lorraine Brew.
We were
Waterfront
we were
Brewfest.
supposed to be there. I was bummed that we couldn't make it. We had a truck breakdown.
So were
We
we,
couldn't
for
do it.
sure,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great Brewfest, and I've won a couple of the competitions there, and we brewed one at ABC, and this year I won with call it the Great and Grind Saison. It's ground pepper and orange peel.
And
So
you
it's
didn't
kind of
save me a glass.
that went quick.
But
It
it
was
was
fantastic.
You said it was themed after Bisto Blanco.
It was good.
Nice.
Or something like that?
Well,
Is that-
Great and Grind, I Grind is a Bisto Blanco song.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we had just gone to that show, so
You seen Bisto Blanco?
I know those. I know them well.
yeah.
That's fucking kick-ass.
Yeah, they're a good band.
Yeah.
I-
And lovely people.
I do want to ask about the brewing. I'm fascinated by it because I've never really done it.
While you do that,
Is-
I'm going to eat a
No,
pretzel here.
You do go. When you're brewing, can anybody do it if they buy the right stuff, or does it take a certain knowledge and a certain palate to do it well? Because I know anybody can buy a kit,
Here's how it
but
goes.
not everybody can make good beer.
You usually start out with the syrups and the extracts, and then once you progress to, it's all about the next step. You go all grain.
Right.
And then it's about controlling your fermentation temperatures and how you treat the yeast and how you formulate the recipes. And you
Okay.
just, that's the obsession of it. You just try to make it a little bit better, a little bit better. So from entry to master is a long road, but anybody can get there. You pay enough attention.
Right.
I mean, I did it.
Is, but they do have to have someone.
Anybody can do it.
I did it.
No, that's just
Ding,
no.
ding, ding. Oh, hold on. I
That's
gotta-
not toot my own horn. That's saying that if I can do it, anybody can do it.
But they do have to have some sense of a palate in order to more or less quality control what they're making. No.
Yeah, you got to put the recipe together, but
He's being very humble. I'm going to tell you, Dave has a great sense for what goes well together.
Okay.
His beers are always well balanced. The hops match the grain, the yeast match all of those things. It's a very consistent
well,
profile.
you don't give somebody a beer that is not balanced. So once you get it, they're like, "Hey, Matthias, taste this." They didn't taste all the ones that sucked.
We've all had those. We've all had those. But to be fair, I have a good sense of smell, and I can kind of just smell and feel things and know what's going to taste like. Just like
Sure.
a cook does. And I think those all kind of go together, right? When you're cooking, you kind of get the whole feel going and just move through.
It's like there's always part science, the methodology of making the product, whether you're smoking a brisket or brewing a beer, right? There's the science of what it takes to go from A to B, but making it taste right and getting the flavor and the profiles and understanding. You can make it taste like somebody else's beer or food, or you can try and put your own stamp on it, which is, there's a lot of guys making beer and food these days. It's very difficult to get out there and set yourself apart, and it requires a lot of thought and homework, love, passion, and probably more so than anything, disappointments. You're doing things and you think you're going to get it right, and you're like, man, I fucked that one up. All right, let me try it again. That's in the garbage. Fuck that one. And then you finally you find the lane that you wanted to be in your mind and in your heart, to where you're trying to create that flavor or that taste or that beer or that food product or that dish, and you get there. But it never happens for anybody overnight. If it does, God bless you. I'm not that guy.
Yeah, for sure. We were seasoned. I mean, we did this for a very long time, and we did have some mistakes early on in our time back when we were home brewers. But a lot of it is really just down to chemistry. It is science,
right?
Water chemistry, everything from the pH to salts and
Are there schools that people can go to? Are there brewing schools or?
Oh, yeah.
absolutely
Right.
And they are highly, I wouldn't say required, but encouraged for people.
Right, like the culinary arts,
And you can be home trained too. You can definitely train yourself. I'm a voracious reader. I know that you are too.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't get enough of something. So literally, I'm obsessed by the process, right?
Sure.
And that's how we do things, right? No matter what it is, opening a business, being an entrepreneur, it's
Sure.
obsessed with the process. Same with a good musician. You guys are obsessed.
Yeah.
And it's just who you are. And that's
Have
what we
you
do
ever
too.
had a beer, like I've had some bad beers, and you're like, but it's still beer, I'll drink it.
Yeah.
You had any straight up drain pours? You're like, this is, the whole batch is gone.
Yeah, not in a long time.
Yeah.
But as a fledgling brewer, yes.
For sure. Yeah, as you're starting to play around and get these things together, and
then when
system makes a difference, right? I mean,
True.
as Dave mentioned, the science behind controlled fermentation temperatures, that's a big one.
by the way,
So-
these pretzels are coming from Avon Brewing Company.
Yep.
What's your brother's name?
His name is Brian Weaver.
Brian
Chef
Weaver, the chef. They sent over some giant Bavarian pretzels with looks like a mustard.
Yeah, we make our own stone ground mustard, and that's a beer cheese sauce that goes with it.
Awesome.
What's the beer in that cheese?
What's the beer and the cheese? It differs, actually. I think it's our Eagle IPA is our house IPA, so definitely the hoppy side of the beer.
How often do you guys have to? I guess you don't have to, but how often do you go and kind of go around to sort of sample what everybody else is doing around town to make sure you're not kind of copying them, inadvertently, but also to see what's changing, in the field.
The industry trends, yeah.
Were you trying to see how many days a week I go to bars? This is being broadcasted. Yeah.
Well, your wife might be watching. Hold on.
know.
She's usually with him.
Spend 12 hours a day in the breweries around town.
So for us, we do try to get out as much as possible. Running several establishments. It's gonna be difficult.
Sure.
But we do take time out and go on tours and road trips, and we find a lot of bottle shops around. We'll save cans for us to try and experiment around a little bit. But like at the end of the day, for us, we like to brew beer we like to drink, and also kind of keep it the style and the times when things are happening. That's important too.
No, I know that you can your beer. Is it available only in Ohio? Is it available in stores in Ohio?
Yeah, so we kind of keep the same model, right? Close to a model. Pre-COVID, we did nothing outside of our building, food
Right.
or beverage. And of course, that changed, and so you can get all of our canned beer in each of our 3 establishments. We also do have beer at One Stop in Avon, One Stop Beverage there on 611.
Is there a desire to branch out to be in like the grocery stores or the liquor stores, the Giant Eagles, you're in LA, the Ralphs or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that something you want to do, or are you like keeping it in like at home within your businesses? Is that a conscious decision?
Yeah, it is. It works really well for us as our business model because can you come for the beer, stay for the food. Come for the food, stay for the beer. You get the whole ambiance experience, and that's really set us up to win some major awards. Best small brewer in Ohio, a couple years in a row.
Yep.
Best brewer in the west side of Cleveland again this year, beating out some big dogs at the same competition.
Well, and I suppose that if you could get this at the get-go, then it takes away some of the need for people to want to come to your brewery restaurants
Sure.
and participate in what's actually happening there.
Yep. Yeah, and the plan is once we open up is to have some poignant distribution. Poignant being that we have some strategic places we're going to put some product so that people can come see who we are and be a part of our establishment. Of course, the whole goal of having the new brewery, again, we're going from almost a little bit under 5,000 square foot restaurant with a 1,000 square foot brewery, 26 parking spots, which has done really well for us. People park everywhere. It's been a blessing. To a 15,000 square foot restaurant, 3,000 square foot patios and a beer garden, 4,000 square foot brewery. From that, we're going to have to do some of that distribution, right?
Well, because your capacity is going to be, you'll be able to triple-fold your...
Support some of those things, correct.
Yeah. So you have that investment in the equipment.
And finally get beer to people who we want to support and help them out as well.
Right.
That's what it's all about, right? Is to support people like we worked with you guys. You came and helped us out when we were in need, and so do those things.
I think we were equally in need. So it was one hand wash or one hand.
You can wash my back if you want. That's fine.
Something's doing something.
Henry, can I get a loofah over here, please?
Loofah.
I'm gonna dip it in some of the oak aged barrel beer that we're gonna
We're gonna crack
switch
it up
over.
here soon, right?
Yeah. And we don't have to shut off at 9. We got more beer to drink, and I'm fascinated by this conversation.
I'm too.
That's good, right?
Right?
Yeah.
So
Can we talk about Dave for a minute, though?
I do want to talk about
Really
Dave.
important.
Well, me and Dave and our wives and our family. You were on the Monsters of Rock cruise with us,
That is correct.
right? Dave, he's got a tough.
My tough 30th anniversary.
You
This
are
is
the heavy metal brewer, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I guess.
Was that your? Well, to me, you're the heavy metal brewer,
I appreciate
the rock and roll brewer, however you want to do it. Shot caller's coming in for a deconstructed version of a Boilermaker. She'll talk about that in a minute. What do you go to, like, outside of the beer that you craft yourself? Mm-hmm. And I know you and Matthias are buddies and pals and have a good history together and have done work together. What are some of your go-to beers? They don't even have to be local, but like if you're going to the store and you're looking for beer, what would be some of your go-to beers?
Wow.
I'm
Schlitz.
sitting right here. Too.
I know, you can't.
Well, you're not in the stores. He's got to come. He's got to go to your restaurant.
Stores.
Oh, if I
okay.
go to the
Right.
store. Well, I mean,
Or do you not go to the store? Do you?
I'm
what is the
just going to
strangest
laugh when he says Old Milwaukee or something like that.
Beast Light.
Yeah.
I've always been
Billy
a
has
fan
a can of
Fatheads.
Strohs. Fatheads?
Headhunter is fantastic.
Killer beer.
I mean, I gravitate towards IPAs. Cincinnati, Rheingeist Truth is a good one.
That's a great one.
Columbus Bodie. These all are IPAs.
We were in Cincinnati. We wanted to go to Rheingeist, but they don't have food there. But they have that. I think they have like a patio on top of their building.
Yeah.
And we were just too hungry to not have food. So
Yeah.
we chose not to go to Rheingeist, which I regret to this day.
Yeah.
Great spot.
It is a
They're
great
good
spot,
people
yeah.
too. They're good people.
I love good people.
Yeah.
And I love friendly competition. Like I'm friends with a lot of food truck people, and moreover, even barbecue food people in the food truck game. And if I can't get a gig, or if I have a gig and a gig's offered to me, and I can turn it over to another great food truck or a great barbecue guy, I'm so happy to do that. And I want because they elevate everybody's game. And I imagine breweries are the same, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who's the asshole brewery? We got to call out one bad brewery. Who
gonna do
sucks?
Not gonna do
They're
it.
not gonna do it.
Yeah, but no, everybody always
Oh boy,
shares.
the
shares
stuff on the
ingredients.
tip of their tongue, just like
Anybody who is potentially owned by Anheuser-Busch
okay.
and Bev,
Yeah.
except for Paul Benner. But
Are there? Would you consider that to be a sellout? Like if you were picked up by an Anheuser or one of those major.
I mean, people do say those things, right? And at the end of the game, it depends on where you started from. But the issue with like Anheuser-Busch or those big conglomerates is that they really try to push the small guy out of the way by taking shelf space, doing things that might be slightly unscrupulous, right?
Right.
In terms of putting their product out in front of other people and squashing the little guy on purpose. Versus where, my brother's a chef and came from a big background in Cleveland, and he would tell you that it's a cutthroat world in the world of food.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people are trying to steal recipes and hide things from people, and really it's a dog-eat-dog world. The brewing world is just the exact opposite.
Really?
An exact opposite. I mean, everybody
There
shares
are some.
ingredients.
It's all kumbaya.
People who I've been dealing with, right, for the most part, right? It's a all throughout Cleveland, really.
I
It's
know
just
you have a recipe that somebody else is selling.
still AB and Bev, right?
Yeah.
AB and Bev took a recipe from us. It's fine, but for no joke. But at the end of the day, really, people support other people. We share ingredients with people. We share recipes and talk about what's the best process in brewing this beer and how did you do that and we collaborate. We do beers together. And
Sure.
So we do a day. We brought them in and brew with us. And we go to Collision Band. We brewed several beers with them, and we brewed with Great Lakes, and we brewed, a lot of collaboration beers with people all across Ohio. It's just a wonderful thing.
That's awesome.
It's an absolutely wonderful thing because all, high tides rise all ships, and I think that we're all in this together.
Right.
That's
It's
a
an
great.
exciting
That's a
thing.
great statement. High tides raises all ships. Right?
Sure.
So
100%.
what's good for the industry is good for everybody,
Always.
right?
Why is it that none of the big conglomerates have moved into? I know some of them sell them, but they've not had a really strong either IPA or craft style beer. I mean, you guys watch the same NFL I do, and it's still Miller Lite, Busch, Coors. It's still the same piss water beer instead of good tasting.
What everybody buys. It
Yeah, but
sells.
you wouldn't I would buy this all day long.
Yeah.
I would buy this all day long over Miller Lite if it was, convenient. But it just doesn't seem like there's any major company that has invested on that level to it.
Well,
they'll
I mean-
also they have a good brand and they'll just buy the brewery and then it's theirs. People don't know
Okay.
that AB InBev or Coors
Yeah,
owns it.
like even locally, we talked about it before, but AB came in and bought a pretty substantial local brewery here in town. And, there's some positives with that. There are some negatives with that, according to what they were talking about.
I'm sure if you're the owner of that brewery, the payday is a very great positive. But they probably at that point they water down the process. They destroy the original concept of the beer. There's the other beer that we were going to try. Don't you have
The barrel-aged version, yeah.
the barrel aged?
It's
Yeah, that's
white
what-
can.
the
So,
white can.
and I'm going to tell you this is really important. Why we chose to say small and do those things is really important. I think Dave could tell you the same thing. We can control all aspects of the process, right?
Right.
So my Christmas ale we talk about it being teeming with local honey, right?
Right.
This honey came from North Ridgeville, right? Thirsty Squirrel Apiary, just right in North Ridgeville, and we've had since our first ever batch, and
And you go to that Opie area and you meet the people.
I know them.
And
We've harvested the honey. I taste along the way. They save stuff for me. We get a taste of the different seasons.
got stung by a bee.
I had before.
All right.
Absolutely. But that's the whole point, right? So we know what that looks like. We know the purveyors of our cinnamon and ginger, right? And nutmeg. We know who those people are. And we don't want to ever get too big that we can't do that. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but like our annual production is about 1,000 barrels a year, right? Which puts us at probably top 10 in Cleveland, which is pretty good.
Sure.
Awesome.
Right? Honestly, out of the it was almost 40 breweries in Cleveland. That's insane. So top 10 is pretty good in production numbers, even for being as small as we are. But just think about this: Great Lakes Christmas Ale. Mm-hmm. This year alone, they did 26,000 barrels of Christmas Ale.
Wow.
26 times more than we brew our entire year in one flavor. Right.
Right.
So
And
you
it
know,
will be
seasonal.
sold out.
and it's seasonal, and it's
Yeah.
literally like 2 months,
Yeah.
which is wonderful for them, right? But as you get bigger and the processes come, where do you find that much honey? Right?
Not
And so
North
that's
Ridgeville.
not North Ridgeville, right? And that's completely fine. And they have a great product, and they try the best they can to stay local, right? But you just can't always do those things. And the
Sure.
bigger you get, harder it is, especially with an IPA. That's your question, right?
Yeah, yeah.
An IPA, hops, the processing. You know, when you get into those big 60-barrel batches and beyond, you know, it's hard to have that quality control all the way through. Can it be done? Yeah. There's some great breweries who do that. Some fantastic breweries who brew a ton of fantastic beer.
But they should come to ABC and have a glass of Citra Trails.
Bomb, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Bomb.
Everybody should go to ABC and have a glass of Citrus Trails.
Citra Trails.
Citra Trails.
Or any of the...
Or any of our beers, right?
IPAs, yeah.
or any of your
Or all of them.
and all of the food. that you're
Great
buying.
food, yeah. So we've won Best Restaurant in Lorraine County several years in a row. So it's just it's a blessing to have great food and great beer. Our staff is epic and fantastic, and they work really hard, and they care about our product.
It's a wonderful
Just
space.
good people, man.
Yeah.
Good people all around, and that's who we are, right? I know that's a cliche to say, welcome to the family, which we do, right? And I know people cringe at that sometimes, but
Right.
we are family. Like, well, my kids work there. We all work there.
I drink there.
Dave,
I eat
family,
there. Yeah.
drinks there, eats
Yeah.
there. And, we get invited to birthday parties, and we become friends, and that's just part of the process, right? We're a local place where people can come and connect and to feel welcome.
There's something, genuine and heartwarming about, you can still be successful and grow and make money, but stay true to the roots of what you're building and what your dream was. You can open more locations, providing you can get some people to show up to work at those locations,
Right?
right? You ever showed up on a line, Cook, and you're in a pinch, give me a shout out.
Brother, that might not be something you want to ask.
that might be
Don't
tomorrow.
toss that up.
Yeah.
Where are you going to be at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Todd?
See you Friday night.
Yeah.
All right, let's try
All
this
right, so
barrel.
this is tell us about this one, bro.
So, this is our Christmas miracle that we age in Cleveland whiskey barrels, right?
And it's a 12%er?
12.3 about, yeah. And you're going to get, as you can see, it's a little bit darker, right? So if you look at a barrel,
It's darker than the bourbon we're about to drink after
All
this.
right.
yeah.
Let's try this.
So the process of, let's have a sip first, huh?
It's
I
so
like
smooth,
that.
though. It's just
I like that.
It doesn't feel like 12%.
No.
That's
You know-
dangerous, though, right?
That
Might
is-
drink 4 or 5 of them, it does.
that- yeah,
Yeah, it's not going to end well.
yeah.
Dave drove. It's good.
I got,
That's really good.
I got a couple of apps that I
really
can get
good.
us all home.
That's so
to
good.
save,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, same process we've always done, right? So we consistently use local. We use Cleveland whiskey barrels because they're local. Why not?
Yeah.
And we can control the process. So they're wonderful with us, and they will do things like dump the barrels
Right.
the day that we need them, right? So we'll pick them up super wet, right? And we'll drive them up to the brewery. We'll fill them with beer, cork them, right? Let them sit for 6 to 9 months. And we can control that because, again, we can look at the barrel's clean. We know where it's coming from. We know that it was dumped that day, and it can be touch and go at places. So we're trying to stay as local as possible. We work with people who are wonderful, and of course the taste kind of shoots itself right there.
So if Anheuser-Busch called you and said, dude, half a bill, or I don't know, I don't know what number they would throw at a great brewery that's making great beer. Do you take that money, or do you say, dude, appreciate the offer, but I fucking like the way we're doing things. We're comfortable where we're at. I'm not a greedy motherfucker, and I'm happy making the beer that I love without it getting all corporate, watered down nonsense. What do you do?
You take the money and you open another one.
Well, and maybe you've gotten that call. I don't know.
Look at Mark Twain. He says, "I oppose millionaires, but it'd be dangerous to offer me the job."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
You know what I
true.
mean?
Yep.
And so, it's one of those things where, deep down it kind of you drive who you are, right? And I don't think we've set ourselves up to be that way. I really don't believe, they have bought some other breweries in the past. I think 10 Barrel out in Portland was one of the smallest ones they purchased. That isn't really their bag right now.
Right.
But if it did,
It was just hypothetical.
No, for sure.
I'm just curious to,
Yeah.
Part of this show is I try to dig out a little bit of dirt because
no, it's good.
all of our guests are so nice and very sweet people, which is great. But
No, and honestly, we're in it for more than just ourselves. We have a fantastic staff, and we have hundreds of employees. It's just epic, right?
Yeah.
So it changed people's lives that way. And to see, even over watching our local establishments who have had that takeover, and some of the struggles with their employees. Some have done great and love it, and others have been hurt by that. And so you have to take all those things into consideration.
right.
And as I say here today, I'd love to say no, that I wouldn't do that for sure.
That's an admirable thing to say.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that phone rings, boy.
Like I said, call me Mark Twain.
Well, I still have
I oppose it, but it'd be
Yeah.
dangerous to offer me the job.
when ink hits paper
Yeah.
and there's
Especially when the wives are involved.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Then
Rubber hits the
then
road.
you just go back to being a home brewer and you're just making your own small batch in your home that's massive and on the top of Mount Olympus.
Right.
Olympus. I still have a dream of doing a Smokin' Rock and Roll David Cousineau joint thing.
Yeah, man.
We just haven't found the right brick and
Yeah,
mortar
yeah.
yet, but I hear of places coming up. Should be something we look at. Should be
I agree.
something- Yeah.
No, I agree.
I think we take you from home brewer into master.
You're not gonna make me brew Billy Light, are you?
Yes.
Oh God! Do we have to call it that?
Billy Light.
Billy Blonde.
Billy Blonde. I like that.
Do that again. Do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, Billy's Blonde.
But
He'll love that.
I mean, we could do. I mean, obviously, we would want to drive some beers around Smokin' Rock and Roll, but
Oh, yeah.
we would want, or just rockin'. Doesn't have to be Smokin' Rock and Roll, but we're both rock guys.
Heck yeah.
We're all into the rock and roll. A rock and roll line of beer would be awesome.
Heck yeah.
I mean, some guys, Maiden has some of their beers, and there's other guys that do it, but we could really take it to the next level. Cheat the
Actually,
system and not pay the bands the royalties that they
That's
deserve
right.
to work, kind of like what we do with our food.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody, Metallica's not called me yet about Master of Piglets, so,
Well, I think you're in the clear.
huh?
I think you're in the clear.
All right, Judas
So
Beef.
we have some good beef with parody laws. We're lucky with that. So.
I don't know why we weren't at the Rock Hall serving Judas Beef when Judas Priest was just there at the Rock Hall.
Because it was in New York, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought it was here at.
It wasn't here,
No.
right?
Yeah, it wasn't here.
Yeah.
Well, that explains it then.
Would that truck make it
Hey,
to New York?
fuck no.
So
I'm lucky if I make it to Avon.
when you look at Dave and his brewing chops, he does have it.
He's
right?
passionate and he's into it and he knows his shit.
Obviously, we talk a lot about your saisons, but even some of the things we've done together. The beer that Dave won, first Waterfront beer. What's it? The Beer Fest, the Waterfront District
Yeah,
Beer
it's a
Fest.
hard name to remember.
It is Lorraine Waterfront
Brewfest.
Brew Fest.
Fest.
Was a blackberry saison,
Yeah.
and he called it Blackberry Bambalam, right? Because the song is
Blackberry.
Bam-a-lam-a-lam. Right.
right.
Were we at that show too together or at that event together? But we may have not known each other at that
was like
point.
3 years ago.
Or more. But it's been a while.
We had done it for 2 years, and then we took a break, and then we did it again.
I've
Or
been at all of
we
them.
were supposed to do it again, and
I think
then
I've been at all of them.
So
yeah.
we brew that beer, right? And obviously, it's his name's on our logo, right? It's Avon Brewing Company and David Cousineau. But we entered that beer into competitions, and we've won the 2 silvers and a bronze
Yeah.
so far, which is
Awesome.
amazing.
Yeah,
right?
it's
So
great.
that's not a homebrew competition. That's a professional beer competition.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the chops.
Time
are
to make
there.
the leap, brother.
Yeah.
You have a
Food
little sign
and
right
brew.
there.
Well,
All right, I see you. Fuck off. We'll wrap up when I'm ready. Yeah. So Dana, do you want to tell us kind of what we're going to be doing here? So I'll let her explain, and then we'll follow suit.
So what's just coming up? If you're watching this, Avon Brewing Company, 37040 Detroit Road in Avon, corner Detroit Road and 611.
Okay.
The old French Creek Tavern back in the day, historic building.
Yeah.
We're there now probably until June or July of this year. So we are open. There are signs in the building, but maybe we'll keep that for you guys, right? We'll see.
There you go.
But looking forward to moving a mile away, just down Detroit Road.
and now it's
For-
even closer to my house. I could walk to ABC now, but this is legit.
That's crawling.
Like, I walk my
Right.
dog.
Now you can crawl home.
That's crawling distance. All right, Dana, tell me what we got here, sweetheart.
Well, normally, as everybody who watches this podcast knows, I usually create some fancy shot every week with strange ingredients. Tonight, I just thought, because I knew who was coming on and that there would be beer, I just wanted to keep it simple and let the beer shine. And maybe you've heard of the Boilermaker, which is when you do a shot of whiskey and you have a beer with it. But tonight, we have very fine bourbon. This is New Riff Bourbon. They're based in Kentucky. However, this is a specific barrel that was made for the state of Ohio. So Ohio bought the barrel, and I think you're going to love it. It's a huge shot, so obviously you don't have to drink all of that. But as an ode to not only the guest that you had tonight who plays for Stephen Piercy of Rat, and to a tribute to brewmasters in the basement everywhere, we're just going to call this one Out of the Cellar.
All right.
I love it. So beer and then whiskey, or whiskey then beer?
Whiskey then beer.
Whiskey then beer. All right.
All right, let's go.
Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys
Cheers.
coming on.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, support local breweries.
Smoking rock and roll.
Be a brewer.
Yes.
Drink
sir.
beer.
There we go.
And then you chase it with the barrel.
It's a very nice bourbon, by the way.
It's a very nice bourbon. It's going to be great on a rock.
That's what she said. Sorry.
Oops.
So there's a time for that's what she said.
Well, thank you, everybody. Smoke and Talk and Roll podcast. I appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back next Tuesday, 9 o'clock. Our special guests are going to be the guys from the Sammy T Sideshow, which, Henry, guess what? We're going to rehearse and then flip the studio within 30 minutes to be ready for that podcast. Congratulations.
I love everything you're saying right now.
You just want to murder. You want to stab me with a pretzel. I'd like to thank Henry and Schrock and my wife for producing and shooting everything. And David, you're a good friend. I love you,
sir.
my guy.
Thanks, man.
Monsters of Rock. Again, here we come.
Yes.
More importantly, that June, July shit down the road in Avon. Matthias,
My brother, thank
you're
you
a
so much.
super awesome human being. Chris Aiken, my friend, my brother from another. Thank you for sitting in for
Sure,
Billy
man.
Morris.
Absolutely.
Love to everybody. And as I say to the guests when it's time to sign off, fuck off.
Cheers.